He's been practicing his DJ work over the weekend.
For 40.
For 40, I like that.
Episode number 40. We are back. Strictly Apple. Strictly Apple Talk podcast.
It's a good one. I can't believe we're at 40.
I know. 40 is a big number.
It feels like it took some time, but it really doesn't feel like it took.
really
It's kind of like
hasn't,
both ways there.
Right?
Love it.
I didn't hear people talking, people say, oh, yeah, when you did this podcast, you guys talked about this. I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Remember the
But
days?
that means you're listening. I might not be.
Remember the days when we weren't on video and it was a tall table and we all sat facing each other?
Yep.
I do.
That was years ago.
I had to worry a little bit less about my haircut pattern then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my weight.
Well,
I still should worry. Is that what you're saying?
it's just still worry, yes.
Yeah.
That's still a problem. No, I'm
What's
joking.
going on, everybody?
Thanks.
Episode number 40. We are going to talk about a couple things that are buzzing around Apple News right now. The first one, and the main one, being iOS 19.
Boom.
Is that a thing that's buzzing?
It's
It is-
buzzing
it
very
is on the
hard
come
now.
up, yeah.
It's been 6 months.
It's because, once they put out the big release, then the next day, people are like, what's next, right?
Yes.
So we just had the M4 MacBook Airs, the Studios, the new iPads, and so now everybody's like, what's next? So Bloomberg put out a report. They always leak first for Apple. And quote, hang on, my phone, quote, this is the biggest iOS revamp since iOS 7.
That's
Okay.
so funny you said that. I literally was going to say that right here. I have it pulled up. Go
What
for it.
are our predictions? Initial predictions. What do
Before I go into what they
before you
think,
go into that, have you probably already read? through
I've
this
read-
stuff.
Yeah, he's done his
I've read
homework.
quite a few different
Yeah.
sources, so go ahead.
Okay, so I don't even know what my prediction is. It's the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah.
iOS 19.
iOS 19 is going to dive deeper into AI. I'm guessing. So I would assume iOS 19 dives deeper into AI. I would also assume there is a lot more automated things that run with iOS 19. But again, I don't know what it could be. There are a million different
There's a lot of different
possibilities.
things, yeah.
If it is true, like Bloomberg, right?
Bloomberg put out, yeah.
Bloomberg.
If Bloomberg said that iOS 19 is going to be the biggest release since iOS 7, it's got to be huge.
Right.
What was iOS 7?
Um,
What was the big release on iOS 7? I can't remember. But you also got to think that was 12 releases ago. That is iPhone.
September 18th, 2013.
Yep.
Okay.
iOS
12
7
years ago.
dropped.
iOS 7 marked a dramatic top-down redesign of the iPhone software interface, setting the stage for next era of Apple's design language. So you want to go into it? What they think?
Yeah,
predictions?
let's figure out.
Of course, there's a lot of cloud behind it, right? You never know, but they give enough for people to get excited. So
Teaser.
yeah, so Bloomberg's report they kind of outlined with it goes well beyond a new design language and aesthetic tweaks. Like I said, it would be the biggest revamp since iOS 7. Bloomberg also says for the Mac, Mac OS 16 will mark the most significant upgrade to the Mac since Mac OS Big Sur in 2020.
Big Sur was my favorite.
It was a big one. I liked Big Sur.
liked Big Sur. It's
I did.
big difference from Catalina. It was a good software. It's good OS.
Yeah, Big Sur brought significant design changes to
Yes.
the dock, notification center, messages, and more. So it's going to be huge for that. As part of the revamp, Apple will update the style of, quote unquote, style of icons, menus, apps, windows, and system buttons. The new design is loosely, quote unquote, based on Vision OS.
They're round.
Yep. And
The apps are round.
Apple's goal is to make the design of its software platforms, quote unquote, more consistent, the report said. Apple also plans to simplify the ways users navigate and control their devices. So the big thing I read, a couple different sources based around this, people's opinions, whatnot. But it's pretty much sounding like not only is it going to get an aesthetic revamp, everything's going to look resemble closely Vision OS,
Yep.
of course. But all systems will go to that. That way, everything's the same. Because right now,
What is
Between-
Vision OS?
for Vision Pro,
Okay.
the operating system for that. So it's literally they want everything to look the same because everything does look different.
Yeah.
In a sense, in a way, which I think it should.
I think it should, but if they want it to sort of, because you have iOS, you have Mac OS, you have
Vision OS,
iPad OS,
Yeah,
Vision OS.
Watch OS, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot
WatchOS,
of OSs there. So, I would assume that the first thing I think is with Vision OS is the apps are round. I see that happening. Do you see that?
Yep.
You see a round. So are they curving everything? Apple goes from square, then they take the radius down.
They've
a
always
little
done
bit
that.
every year.
So, yeah.
They've always done that aesthetically too. If you think about like 3GS or 3G to 4,
Mhm.
right? We went from round,
Yep.
just kind of squared off,
Yep.
and then they go back and forth.
Right.
Between everything. I mean, even iPads, it went to like a more square form.
Right. Well, I mean, when we went from the 11 to the 12,
Mhm.
we went from round to square.
Mhm.
Right. Because we went from
Mac desktops,
yes.
they
you're
went square.
They were yep, and then at one point they were round. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So I
So
think
we're entering the round phase of Apple.
Yeah.
We believe in iOS 19.
Why do you think that is? If you could have a guess. I mean, there's no method. I'm sure there is a method.
I think obviously trends come back.
Mhm.
Like I don't know, you see people wearing different clothing that people in the 80s wore,
Me
like
right now,
jean jackets and black shoes are in now, or
Right.
Yeah.
that type of deal.
I'm
You
wearing
know,
New Balances, and my mom gets on me every day. I used to wear those in college.
is this
Like,
isn't
that's
that
New
insane?
Balances.
And
It's
New
crazy.
Balances, those are like back in the day, like
I
if you had
love them,
foot
bro.
problems, you
Yeah.
had New
Yeah.
Balance. Now they're
I
hip.
love them, bro.
My dad would
I
wear
love
them when I was in high school. I'm like, what do you?
I think every 20 years things just cycle through.
For sure.
And now this could be a big thing. We're going back to round.
Yeah.
And the Macs are square. Everything's pretty much square, but are they going to go back to the rounded edges? Is the iOS 17 going to go back to sort of a round case on it?
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. I see the apps going there.
The iPhone 17.
Yes, what'd I say?
iOS.
iOS 17. That was
Okay.
2 years ago, or a year and a half ago now. But iOS 19, it's always cool to have a good update. There isn't very much that I could say that I want to see on a new update because of how good it currently works. Jonathan, is there anything that you see that, or you think that would be, I don't know, a pro to the iPhone iOS?
I don't know, man. I think I like what they did with 18, all the customization.
Yeah.
I think maybe
More.
like completely change the color. Like you know how messages is like green?
Mm-hmm.
Like make it like pink, and then the bubble be like white.
So
like super
Like
creative.
Instagram has,
Yeah.
where you can change the color of the messaging.
Mhm.
Or like Snapchat, I think you pay for it, but you can change the background of the
know what you're talking
chats and
about.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
That's
So who
super
knows?
customizable.
You know
Yeah.
what? I mean, I only dream of these like when I was using, operating systems like 3 and 4. But if you think about it, like imagine, especially for like iPads, right? But on my phone, like I'm on my home screen. What if it was like dual apps? Like I could text on the bottom half, and the top half I'm, playing a game or like reading something.
half of the
Like picture in picture.
Okay,
Split your
you know
screen.
what I wish, and you know what, they might have it. But remember when the iPhone 8 Plus had that home button and you could triple click it and the
Yep.
screen would come down lower?
Yep.
That's not that's not a possibility
I
currently.
don't know anymore.
Because
What was the point of that?
for if you had the big phone and there
Yeah.
was stuff at the top of the phone
Mm.
that you couldn't reach, like instead of doing one of these,
Okay.
you're
Got
able
you.
to just double click.
The small-handed folk.
And
is
you
what
know
you're
how many
saying.
times I actually, and I have pretty large
Yeah, you have
hands,
big hands.
but you know how many times I'm like this, and because of where my socket of popping sits,
Yeah.
I would have
I
to
do this. Like,
go up
stretch
here.
my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you got to use that second hand.
Mhm.
Got you.
Like I'm already not supposed to be texting while driving. Now I have to take both hands off the wheel.
You think about it too, though. Between
Yes.
they took away the home button, but especially on your model. I mean, like I've got the action button.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 4 buttons. I mean, besides volume.
Yeah.
I mean, they add more buttons, and depending on what you do, like if I press this twice, I get Apple Intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
but I can click it once. But if I click it twice, it goes to Apple Pay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, mine goes to Apple Pay.
Yeah,
Mine's
and then
yeah,
action
twice.
button. So I think all that's still there, and I'm pretty sure maybe in Control Center and gestures, you know what I mean, like accessibility, because there's crazy between the back taps and everything else. You
Yeah.
can do a bunch of different things.
I did a
What
how-to
if-
about that.
What if they add another button?
Well, like
Apple adds another button. I don't think they need one.
okay, I was about to say. So you have the 16. So there's
Yeah.
your camera button, your power button,
The action
your action button. That's
action
3.
button, and then they have the photo. I don't even. What was this called again?
Yeah, the camera. Button.
Yeah, camera.
A lot of people said that they're going to have
That would make
put
sense. A scroll.
fingerprints. Well, people that would make sense.
Well, you
I think it
can
would need to be a
scroll
little
on the
bit
camera,
higher.
like it changes the lens.
It does.
Yeah.
But he's talking about like if you're on a TikTok.
Sure. Yeah.
You
I
just
was
scroll.
But that's so lazy. Good
Yeah,
Lord,
it is,
that's
and it
so
needs to be a little
lazy.
higher. It would need to be like, well, for me, it would need to be in the middle. I don't know if that's universal, but
Right. That's another thing. Where would they put it on the actual
Yeah.
phone?
When they took because everything's going to eSIM,
Yep.
I would assume.
That's what they put. That's what that is.
Yeah, I
There's
was about to
space
say,
there.
So I was going to ask you, hardware-wise, when you open it up, since they took that out for the eSIM,
Yeah.
is there much more space for things like that?
No, they just filled it in with some more board.
Yeah.
They just put like more.
Just put some
stuff
caulking in it.
Yeah, but they also, there's space for that now. But even with that, there's cables wrapped around the entire side of the phone. The eSIM before actually slid and needed space, or the regular SIM slid and needed space. That doesn't need as much space now, so it gives more room. But they'll say they put 150% more battery in there.
Yeah,
you know how they do.
The best battery life yet.
The most empowering battery generative life.
85 hours of video, 4K.
Yep. No.
Okay, so a couple more things. Design elements taken from Vision OS, but the update is only loosely based, like we said, with the interface. Vision OS, like you said, features round app icons with a lot of translucency, which is different from the phone.
Okay.
Right? There's always a background,
Right.
behind the buttons and everything else. This is like just overlaid. Plus a simple navigation system and more of 3D elements. That's what they're thinking.
I know one thing that I'm calling is, like me and Jonathan just said, the iMessage. Every single update from 16, 17, 18, you've noticed huge changes, and the emojis to
that's what I was going to say. I saw that on Instagram yesterday on the work phone. There's like 6 or 7 new emojis coming out.
Yeah, they always typically will drop a couple more of those. But I also think that you'll be able to customize your chats more with backgrounds and colors. I think that doesn't seem like that's that hard
because
to
Meta's
do.
doing that. You can do like themes.
Yes,
in your messages.
It doesn't seem like it's that big of a change. You can put a picture. Maybe you can put a whole collage of pictures and they change.
And people want to customize, and I think they're just picking up on that with like customizing home screen and everything. But like I said,
very colorful. Same thing with the iMacs. People want different. They don't just want the black and silver.
Color,
but does that go away from they want all the systems to look the same? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can change your background on your Mac, your iPad.
That's something else too. Is live photos. I've always found this annoying. I mean, I've downloaded like third-party apps and tried to do different things. I know with Mac, the current operating system with my Mac, it's a lot better now. So live wallpapers as I'm typing, like it goes in, is almost moving through a forest for like 5 seconds and it stops. But with wallpapers, imagine not on your lock screen, but your home screen, and behind it is like a video playing every once in a while. I'd love that.
Something like that. I see what you mean.
I just thought of something. When you edit a text message, isn't there, you have a 2-minute block of when you can edit it and then it closes?
Yep.
Why is that a thing?
Editing text messages, say you just, you told her you loved her and you don't.
Yeah.
You just need to erase it, right?
You got 2 minutes to change your mind, or else it's permanent.
I didn't mean that.
No, it's a great example.
Or you said something, or maybe you texted somebody and said the wrong thing,
I guess.
right? Or
Yeah.
you said maybe something you shouldn't have. Or I use it specifically if I just spell something wrong.
Yeah, it's
versus just putting the word.
For sure.
But like you spell where, the wrong where or something, you're like, where? Or you know what I mean? Something like that.
I
It's
wish
a
they
little
would
bit,
do away with
I
that.
always found like that to be, it was kind of a gray area because honestly, it's you can't see what was edited, right?
No.
You can't see the history. But like say you go to
Mine
court.
does.
Say you go to court, something like you're texting someone and they take you to court. You text them and they respond to your text, but you edit the text, so it responds in a different way that's incriminating.
Oh.
That's probably why.
But you have 2 minutes to edit it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can edit it once they've sent it.
Yeah.
Once they responded. I don't know.
Are you doing okay?
Text
Yes.
me real quick.
Like, are you doing okay? And they say yes, but you go to change it and like, do you like drugs? And they're like, yes. And you're like, ha, gotcha.
Oh, that's insane.
Okay, yeah. So like almost like.
So I just texted you. Respond real quick. So we're within 2 minutes here. And now I'm going to go back and I can edit.
Yeah. And then Alex, can from your phone, can you hit the where it says edited button and it's almost like a little like blue word and it shows what he edited. At least on my phone it does. Because I can go back and
Oh, it did hit the little right here.
You see it?
You can say hide edits,
Oh,
or you can hit.
I
I
never
did not
clicked
know you
that
could do
before.
that. You can
Yeah,
how
you
to
didn't know
see.
that?
I did not
No.
know that. Interesting.
Yeah, so you can see what they edited.
That's interesting.
Undo send.
But with different apps, it's not like that. Only iMessage it shows.
But the one thing that they don't have is they didn't. Well, I have not upgraded to my laptop to the newest Mac OS, but I will say on the current OS that I'm running, you cannot. I do the send text later thing.
Oh,
I've only
love
done it a
that.
couple times.
Oh my
All
gosh,
the
golden.
time.
Love that.
No,
Hey, Mama Jonathan, she just posted a new reel.
Mama Jonathan.
72 Travel.
Shout out 72
Oh,
Travel.
yeah, my bad.
It's a shameless plug.
My bad.
That's funny.
No. Okay, so back to
He
that.
looked at me and went,
I was like,
posted a new
it
reel.
just notification. Just, I didn't want
She
to
just
say
got
her
back
name
from
out loud.
Jamaica last night.
Okay, so we'll get our first look at that for iOS 19, iPad OS 19, and Mac OS 16 at 2025 WWDC, which is in June.
Yeah, which we'll do
June.
Do
a pod for.
Yep, that'll be
You said
fun.
iOS 19's in June.
Beta will release,
Beta, okay.
and then you'll get that in September. You'll get the full release with the iPhone 17, which is supposed to be pretty good too. The statement, the largest.
They say nothing about Watch
Right.
OS or anything.
I feel like they say this every time. They said it was the 18 too.
It's technically the best, right? It is the best, but since the word since, then putting the word since iOS 7 is a big deal, which means the past 12 were just baloney.
Yeah,
But
Bologna.
it says a whole top-down with iOS 7. It was a complete revamp from like 6 before. It's a complete revamp, top-down aesthetically. So they're saying the same thing about this. Which, if that's true, it won't look anything like it would here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not sure. iOS 19 is going to be something fun. I think with the iOS 17 or the iPhone 17, it's going to play a big role in that as well. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, they didn't say anything about Watch OS updates or
Was there anything else on there?
tvOS
They
or
talked
anything.
about nothing?
Not really. No. Camera. Somebody, I forget who, was talking about one item, which wouldn't have been in the original Bloomberg, but talking about the camera app, overhauling the camera app itself to add more 3D elements, which would...
Just stop messing with the Photos app.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That's
Just
a lot
stop
there's a
touching
lot, there
the
was a lot of
Photos
hate
app.
with the 18 update. with
It's
that.
confusing to me
It's
now.
very
You got me hooked for 15 years, and now you're changing
Right.
it so I
I
can...
have to go to like recently saved to see something I screenshotted.
Why
like,
is
an
that a
hour
thing?
ago.
We
Why
asked-
isn't it right there?
It should be right in the bottom.
Yeah.
If I
You're
look...
right. I agree. Apple, what are you doing?
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Redonkulous.
So, that's that.
I'm glad you knew what I was talking about. 'Cause
That was
it makes me so aggravated.
Yeah. It's,
That was a leak from what the camera app would look like.
okay. So, it's a little bit of...
Vision OS, so it's rounded,
Yeah.
translucent.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, stop messing with it. I'm
Yeah.
just now getting used to in the gallery,
I'm
trying to
still not
figure
even-
out
I'm
where
not-
things are.
That's what we were just
Yeah,
talking about.
pissed me
I'm
off.
not even getting used to it yet.
Yeah,
I went there today. I like being able to go and search certain photos and stuff, and now it like brings up a collection of different stuff. There's, I mean,
you know, that's something that I've used for a long time. I mean, like I'm talking way back OS when they
Way
first started
back.
it was is maps. Like if I can't find a certain picture because I've tens and tens and tens of thousands of photos and videos,
Oh,
I
yeah,
go to a
you've
map
talked-
and I'll zoom in of
so,
where I
like,
knew
if
it
you
was
took a picture in
taken.
Florida. You can
Yeah.
Go, that's,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
Which
cool.
is cool that you can do as well.
Because you asked me the year. What year did you go on vacation? I have no
I
clue,
don't know.
but I know where it's at
I
in
don't
the
know where
map.
it was.
I think speaking of maps, Apple Maps
I'm the map.
has,
I'm the map.
has significantly been improving. I noticed that whenever I'm driving, I have my Apple Maps on, and I don't use Apple Maps a lot anymore. But whenever I do use it, you know how I normally say there's like I give you like 3 lanes, and then I'll tell you, hey, turn right. You're turning right in this lane. Now, when you start approaching those lanes even closer, it gets down to where it's like, it's almost like your car's right there, and you can scroll, and it gives you the perspective of what you're looking at,
Yep.
and it puts
That's
the
fire.
roads like in
It's
front
like-
of you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you look at it and you're sitting there counting lanes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4th
Right.
lane over.
No, it,
Right?
it
You know what I
already
mean?
knows.
So now it's
What do
like
you call that? Like, what's the word? Like,
it's like a better 3D.
Yeah.
It's super 3D.
it's almost like
I don't-
a
And that's
like
been
eagle eye almost.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's
So that's been rolling out for a long time. If you go to your maps, say
I
if
love
you go,
my Apple
yeah,
Maps.
if you go to your Apple Maps and
Google
you go
Maps
to
does not even compare.
you go to
They're
Los
close.
Angeles, California, right?
Yeah.
So this has been happening major cities. It's taking a long time. So you pull up Los Angeles, hit LA, right?
Yep.
If you hit flyover, right, gives you
What? Is it like a satellite almost?
Oh,
a flyover
dude.
2 or 3D.
What?
Right. So that's what's coming slowly. As you're seeing that with like the top up view, it's because 3D mapping and analyzing
That's a wicked.
is getting way more specific.
That's
Now, this is not live.
No.
No.
That would
So
be
this is
sick.
3D
That
map,
would
but
be
like
cool.
it'll show you main points of certain points that they've picked out.
Yeah, there's a crypto center.
You can pick now the 3D as well. Here, go to 3D satellite. And if you go bigger
insane.
places like that, like if you go to DC, dude, and you can like literally go through like monuments, buildings, stuff like that.
That's interesting.
Because they're tying, the 3D maps that they're doing by phone with Google as well as a satellite now.
Yeah, that's insane. This is pretty cool. I did not realize you could do this. I don't know what
That's
the
pretty
benefit
cool.
of this is.
Just kind of overseeing, everything.
They just get this. You get to see it.
Yeah, I
and
guess.
just
Yeah.
take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the Hollywood sign? Is that coming close? You think?
I don't know.
No, this is pretty cool though. I like being able to see
Little
this.
features like that.
Yeah.
I used to be a big fan before, like Apple Maps and stuff like that on the phone. I was a big fan of Google Earth, so I re-downloaded it not too long ago on the iPad. And you can do endless stuff.
Yeah.
Google Earth, kind of scary.
I think I use Maps sometimes in place of Google. If I'm looking for a food place or something like
Oh,
that, and it wants to
1000%.
be in my
Yes.
area, I just type it up. Or even if
Apple
I'm
Maps.
looking, if I want to, we have a Home Depot next to us. Everyone that's listening, and if I want to see what time it closes, I don't go to Google
No,
for Home
I go to
Depot. I
Apple
go
Maps.
to Apple Maps
Yep.
for Home Depot,
I'm
and then I
like that.
press call.
You should ask your Wayfair glasses.
Oh, I don't have them.
You
in
just
here.
look at it and just, hey, what time does it close? Meta AI.
If I'm looking at Home Depot,
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Meta
Almost
AI.
like
You can
Tony
ask it
Stark,
anything.
like stuff. What time does
You
this
can
go?
literally say, hey Meta, what am I looking at? It takes a picture and then it analyzes it.
Interesting.
Yep.
I haven't really delved
Hours
into those.
operation
Yeah.
website. That would be
So
sick.
we mentioned Home Depot. So we also have to, coincidentally, go to the other side. So we don't just rep one. Lowe's. News article.
I
about-
want no beef.
Does the whole
Must have
country
known
have
both.
Home Depot and Lowe's?
I'm pretty sure.
Is
You
that
know
a-
where Home Depot is from? You know this?
No, I don't know. that.
Atlanta.
Really?
Mhm.
So I'm guessing
Worthless
it's
knowledge in my brain.
They've
but
got a stadium too. I think
Home Depot Stadium.
like Home Depot. You know how like somebody I think somewhere they've got one.
I don't know.
Anyway, Lowe's in a news article, it was one of the talking points I had today. They are rolling out. They have a few. I'd say like 3 or 4. Sorry, they had 3 or 4 different locations that they do this. Big cities. I think in North Carolina, California. But they have Vision OS systems
Mhm.
in Lowe's. A blank
A
kitchen
floor?
space. And they walk you through, and you customize down to colors, textures, machines,
You're
everything
in
else.
your kitchen.
You're
through
in
the
your
Vision.
kitchen, and they like talk you through the process, and you go through and you design it.
Really?
3D app. So they are releasing that in more store. It was such a big thing. Whatever. A couple days ago, Lowe's announced that they're adding it to more cities,
That's pretty cool.
and you just go in and you schedule a time to go, customize a kitchen.
I think that's pretty cool because for something that you're going to pay a lot of money for,
Mhm.
it's like seeing a car before you buy it. Most people want to do that.
Yeah.
If you can see your kitchen, and not everybody has the exact eye for it, so if you can change your cabinets on the spot and be like, let's try white, let's try
Yeah.
green, whatever that color is, I think that's pretty cool.
I think it's a new way, and everyone's going to augmented reality, 3D, whatever. I noticed, IKEA's had it forever. They've got an app where literally you pick out a piece of furniture or whatever, and you place it in your room, on a space. Amazon, you can do that.
Yep.
Like you buying a couch on
Yep,
Amazon,
and you can
place
see it. I've seen a thing where if you were going to build a custom house, some places have it to where they will set up the blueprints on the floor through like, I don't know, a projector,
Mhm.
and then you can see and visualize what size that room
That's
is. 'Cause
cool.
I know when we were building our place, I was going to everything. I had a tape measure with me at all times.
Yeah.
Try to measure out like 20 foot, 15 foot,
Right,
like what
right.
it looks like, type of deal. So that's
But it's hard without walls and
It's
everything
hard.
else.
well, you get a roof, you get walls, then it starts to close it in, and it really doesn't get closed in until you get the drywall. So if you can see that
Right.
initially, I think it's pretty cool.
So that got me thinking with the whole Vision OS with Lowe's, and I think Lowe's is kind of, going above and beyond.
Yep.
IKEA had that piece, but this is going way further, and actually augmented around you. What other things besides a house, a car? I think that would be cool if they had a car. Imagine if you go to, I don't know, Toyota. You go in their sales room and they have what you would see is just a metal car, like a frame. You're like, oh, that's ugly.
Yep.
But you put these on and literally you touch it, paint it.
Okay, so when I was at the Apple store in Cupertino
Mhm.
in California, they had that. It was all AI. Was it AI? Remember that iPad thing that I showed you?
Yeah, it was augmented reality.
And that's the idea of it.
Yeah.
They put the camera over. It was just a big white. It was a white 3D printed Apple. Their whole setup there.
Yeah.
What's it called? Their business. The
Model.
that big old circular thing they have.
Oh yeah.
Apple plant or whatever it's called. They had that in 3D model, and what you did, you took the iPad, and it would like on the iPad, it shows you the colors, shows you where everything is. It's sitting in front of you, but that would be the same thing with the Vision Pro.
Yeah.
If they had that for a car, I think it's pretty smart. If you're remodeling your bathrooms, if you're going to even build a house, maybe you can put the Vision Pro on and see the house.
Yeah.
At your property before, and it's pretty cool.
What if it's like McDonald's and you're like, what's this burger look like? They're like, put this on.
Yeah.
And just like menu choices.
You're flipping through. Take the pickle off.
Actually, it'd be cool. Just daydreaming. Apple makes Apple glasses.
Yep.
Right. And you're looking up at a menu at Wendy or at, McDonald's, Wendy's, whatever. And you look at it and you like pinch it to make it look bigger. It's like, oh.
No more need for bifocals. Use the Vision Pro and pinch.
Yeah. You say that, but Apple already thought about that because the AirPods Pro now you can use for hearing aids.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you can't hear, throw your AirPods in.
Yep. And I think it's pretty smart. I think Apple glasses will be a thing. Maybe they're leaning towards that. Maybe they'll stop with the Vision Pro and create the Apple glasses.
My prediction is they stop the Vision Pro.
There's a lot of predictions. Oh, they're going to stop the Vision Pro.
Yeah, at least make it smaller.
They're only selling it to Lowe's. Only to Lowe's. But the Vision Pro is, I don't know. I think it's kind of a flop.
Lowe's goes, you guys, how many can we buy? We're like, well, we've got this whole stockpile.
Yeah, we have 100,000 left. Do you want them all?
With everything though, anything that stops going out of stock, like the value's going to go up.
Right.
Do you think that it will go up if Apple completely cuts it off in 20 minutes?
Not really with the
You don't
Vision
think the
Pro.
Vision
I
Pro
don't.
value
I don't
will
think. I
go
think
up?
it started too high to go up. And
It's
they're going to stop.
Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The price is already $3,500.
I'm trying to think of like devices because we have new devices coming out, like with the home accessible tablet.
Mhm.
They're going to have in the house to control HomeKit stuff. But the last thing that kind of went by the wayside was iPod and then iPod Touch. How long after iPod Touch was taken out did they support it? Because if they stop supporting Vision OS and people spend thousands of dollars, you know what I mean?
iOS
Because you have to have a whole
12.4.
wing of engineers to keep that running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What was your question? How long after iPod what?
After iPod Touch was canceled, how long was it supported?
Or
Like-
what's the last iOS? I think it's iOS 12.4 is the last iOS that iPod can handle, or 9.7. It's one of those, I believe. iPod Touch. I had somebody actually offer some iPod Touches to us the other day
Really?
for cheap. But really do nothing.
On May 10th, 2022, Apple discontinued the iPod Touch, the last remaining product on the iPod line. The iOS 15 was the last iOS release
iOS
the
15.
7th gen iPod could function with.
So 3 gens of
which isn't
Which
really.
is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's...
but I
they
mean,
said-
if you spent that much on Vision OS and then the next year they're like, we're not supporting it.
It'll go for 5 years.
5 years.
Apple supports for 5 years. And then
iOS 15 came out in 2021.
Apple supports for 5 years. They'll do technical support for 5 years, and then after that, it's considered vintage. Any product considered vintage, but you can still update it for another 2 to 3 years after that. So, like in 2020, when Catalina came out, you could upgrade the 2012, so that's 8 years. But after that, you can't. So it's normally, if you have a 2020 MacBook, you should be able to update it to software until 2027, 8, right around there.
Huh.
A couple more years on that. At least updating, and then you can still use it for a couple more years after that, especially now that everything is no longer being an app that you download on Mac and it's more of a browser, like you search. You should be able to use it for a little bit longer as long as your browser browses.
Ooh, that was deep. As long
your
as your
browser
browser
browse?
browses.
Are you
What-
browsing today?
Yes, the deep question is, what happens when your browser stops browsing? Like Mozilla. I used to use Mozilla back in the day. Firefox.
oh, Firefox.
Yeah, Mozilla Firefox.
Yep. Nope. I don't know that because I am a little bit younger.
Oh.
My mom
Chill.
used it.
My mom used to.
iOS 19. Tell us your predictions in the comments. What are you looking for? What do you want?
Are you old enough to be using Firefox?
Alex is the only one there.
My name's Alex.
I'm Landon.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we'll see you guys later.
Thanks for coming in.